Death Valley Days.
The way through the Mojave Desert of California is so arduous that even today travelers are advised to follow it with caution. Before the days of the automobile, hardy men with wagons and mule teams risked the desert to carry essential supplies to miners and settlers. But one of the strangest journeys ever made through the grim country pitted an untried little immigrant from Australia against the desert, carrying not flour, nails, or cloth, but an organ for Brother Brigham.
Ah, there's a lot of rock up there.
We've been past them before.
Just I never seem to get used to the bigness of them. Why, they look so mean they could swallow the whole train.
Huh. Well, sure wouldn't be much to swallow this trip.
Oh, now, Luke. We got important cargo. Otherwise, Brigham Young would never send me clear to California to get you to bring it.
Well, I've been freighting 16 years, and I ain't never toted a pipe organ before. Axle grease, I toted. Salt beef, and once a whole train load of percussion caps. But an organ? No, sir. I never did think I'd see Luke Winter packing tons of wooden whistles.
Oh, come on, Luke. Why, you know you got the finest outfit in the West for a job like this.
It ain't only the organ. It's that pipsqueak that built it. I didn't expect much when I heard he was an Englishman, but I did think he'd have the good sense to ride along the wagon with his organ. He's been dogging me ever since we left San Pedro with his talk about music in the middle of the Middle Ages and some fool chants, Gregorian or
Gregorian, Luke. You know, he's a student of history, a man of learning.
Yeah? Well, there's one thing he ain't never learned, and that's how to ride a horse. If his bottom was glass, he'd have busted it the first mile out.
Well, where's he now?
He's gone over to inspect the cargo. As if I didn't know how to haul his precious organ. Oh, here he comes now.
I say, Dobbin and I...
His name's Kingpin.
Oh, sorry. I'm afraid all horses are Dobbin to me. Anyway, we've just had a most interesting tour of the train.
That's nice.
And find that everything's battened down, all tidy and shipshape.
Well, what did you expect? That we'd be spilling your music all over the desert?
On the contrary. It's been my observation that you run a most efficient freight train. Allow me to congratulate you. It's not an easy thing, you know, supervising the shipping of an organ clear from Australia to Salt Lake City. But I've been most fortunate in having, number one, a first-rate sailing vessel commanded by an ex-officer of the Queen's Navy, and number two, a seasoned veteran of Western wagon roads.
Now, you're being complimented, Luke. I mean, don't you want to say thank you?
I'll ride back a ways. Maybe a wagon will fall on me.
My, he certainly cuts a fine figure aboard that horse. Whew, this sun. It's enough to make one want to shed a vest.
Well, you'd better shed it then, brother, because we got a lot of hot traveling to do.
Well, surely it can't get any hotter than this.
You don't think so? Follow me. Look.
What is it?
That's the great American desert.
Well.
Try to keep up today, will you, Steve? You all set, Delbert?
Good morning.
Morning.
We seem to get off earlier each morning.
The idea being to get a head start on the heat.
Ah, that makes marvelous sense. Well, 5 o'clock. Exactly.
Now, what difference does that make? We still got 500 miles to go.
It gives me a feeling of stability, I think you'd say, to know what time it is. Out here, right in the middle of all this.
Well, you worry about the time, and I'll worry about getting this wagon train moving. You ready, Oscar? Let's move out!
Put it together, and what he had was a kind of trumpet played mechanically, you see. And this in Alexandria, of all places, 3 centuries before the birth of Christ. Or did I say that?
At least once.
But it was Hero, his apprentice and devoted disciple, who ingeniously lined up a whole row of them, and by blowing them by mechanical means, succeeded in playing the first organ.
Amazing.
Yes, it was, rather.
Hello! Look, winner!
I say, is he lost?
No. Corey Jones. Carries the mail between Salt Lake City and Los Angeles. Howdy, Corey.
Howdy, Luke. I was hoping you weren't no mirage.
How do you do? My name's Josie Fridges.
Howdy. You got any water to spare, Luke? I'm near dry.
Plenty. How about your horse?
I could let him wet his tongue a little.
Well, come along.
Corey, boy. Hey, you're a sight for sore eyes.
Hank, how's it going?
Well, pretty good. What kind of country you been riding through?
Oh, it's heavy drifting up by the Red Rocks.
Oh, same as usual, huh?
Hank, how about watering Corey's horse for him, will you?
Sure, Luke. Come on, boy.
Say, you're making pretty good time this run, ain't you, Corey?
No, I'm behind schedule. No, I run into a real tricky piece of desert back there. Had to detour half a day.
Is that so?
Well, what you carrying this trip, Luke?
Dangest piece of tomfoolery you ever heard. Shame to tell you. It's a pipe organ.
A pipe organ?
I'm afraid Mr. Winner doesn't altogether approve of our mission, which is to transport a fairly large pipe organ, dismantled and crated, as you see, to the citizens of Salt Lake City.
Still a pipe organ?
Ah, but I've lived in Australia, and I know. Nice things take on even more importance in a strange, wild setting. Things like china and rugs and down pillows and music. Salt Lake City doesn't have a pipe organ. Brigham Young feels that mine will make up to those people for a lot of things they left behind. You see this?
That's about as useless a piece of tomfoolery as that organ.
That's where you're wrong. I sold up nearly everything I had to buy a passage to California, but I kept this. It was my grandfather's. This watch is a small bit of order in a wild country. A piece of civilization, you might say. It's the same with the organ. It'll bring culture to the Rocky Mountains.
Hogwash.
Oh, no, maybe he's got something, Luke. I mean, you and me, what do we know about culture? I'm glad to know you, Mr. Ridges.
All set, Corey.
Well, thanks for the water, Luke. Good luck. Bye, Hank.
Get this wagon train moving, or it'll be Christmas before we get to Salt Lake Valley.
amazing, Brother Butterfield. It looks as though we're riding into a vast lake.
Mirage, Brother Richards.
Yes, I know. An optical phenomenon produced by a stratum of hot air of varying density acting as a sort of reflector.
Easy, Steve. What'd you find?
Sand. A whole sea of it. Hub deep and shifty. I've never seen it so bad.
Didn't find no way around it?
Nope. There is no way around it.
All right, cut the water rations. We're going through it.
Make him pull. Cut down on him. Keep that wagon moving. Cut down on him. Cut down on this one. She ain't pulling. Oh, move it up. Come on, you're gonna get that wagon caught in the sand. Come on, keep up.
You know, Mr. Winner, there's something about a sky full of stars that makes even sour belly taste good. Of course, you had to eat a lot of sand with your sour belly. The stuff seems to filter into everything. Amazing how it does.
Amazing.
There's desert in Australia, you know. Actually, I never got very close to it, but I knew men who did, and they told me about it, and so I was somewhat prepared for this. Actually, they never told me just how sandy sand was. It came as rather a surprise.
I've been traveling this route ever since the Saints first settled the valley of the Great Salt Lake. And each trip always comes as an ugly surprise. Heat, sand, the endless miles of it.
If you feel that way, why do you continue?
It's my work. What I know best. Started out back in the 40s with an outfit that run between Denver and Oregon City, driving oxen. We hated the horse wranglers like a cowman hates a sheepman. But once when the Indians was raising cane up in the Wyoming territory, well, we had to team up with a horse outfit for protection. That's when I became a horseman. I seen as smarter, quicker than oxen, so I switched. Couple of years, had my own outfit. Always felt like my work was real important. Till this trip. Oh, well. Another month, I'll be well rid of this cargo.
How soon before we're moving easily again?
We better be out of this sand by tomorrow night. 20 miles to the nearest water. We're looking at the bottom of the barrels right now. And if I'm ever fool enough to make another trip, remind me to get a Relief Society sister to take your place. Any woman in Salt Lake City to drive that team better than you. Move, you stupid goathead, or I'll holler at your hide. Move! Never you want to get down here together? Get to the feet, boy, or I'll move right over the top of you. Make him work! Make him work! I'll give you a hand.
Here, let me assist you.
Get away from me, you worthless little organ grinders, monkey! There's a man running this train.
After you.
Never did I ever see sand this deep through here. Once, Hank, remember, back in 52, 53, when we run into sand near this bad. We was out of it in a day. We've been in this stuff near 3 days.
How far are we from water?
Oh, 1,000 miles from here.
What?
Well, we might as well be. Moving an inch at a time.
Well, every inch brings us closer.
Hank, you know I never abandoned the cargo.
No, you never did, Luke.
No, sir. Not in all my life did I ever abandon the cargo. But I was carrying supplies to them settlers. Seed, soap, ammunition. Not some tomfool music machine.
And those supplies were vital. They were a foundation. They established the people in the country. But you build on a foundation, you add to it. Education, books, music.
Look at this. Longer than a wagon. Without it, we could be out of here by nightfall.
You leave one pipe of this organ here in the desert, and you may as well leave me, too.
Mister, I relish the thought.
Brother Ridges, I want this organ to go through as much as you do, but it's not worth our lives and the lives of everyone in this train. Now, we can leave the organ here and come back for it later.
It would turn to dust in a month here in the desert. No, sir. I built this organ pipe by pipe, and I've seen it come this far. I'll not let you leave it behind.
I'm boss of this wagon train, mister. If I give the orders, ain't one thing you can do about it. Hank, round up the boys.
Please. It can't be far to solid ground.
I can't tell that. The desert's shifty. It could be solid a mile ahead, but I can't take that chance. We gotta unload this stuff and move.
4 hours. Just give us 4 more hours. If we're not moving by then, I'll help you unload.
Well, if you don't beat anything I ever seen in my life. All right. All right, you stubborn little toad. I'll give you 2 hours. 2 hours. Not a minute more. All right, Hank, let's give it one more try.
Oh, Lord. You and I, we brought this organ safely across an ocean. I know you won't let it be sunk in the middle of the desert. Amen. That'll do it! That'll do it! You've got those animals walking now! Just a little more shove! That's almost got it! You've got that wagon moving now! Here, let me give you a hand!
You almost got yourself mashed by a couple of tons of organ pipe.
Yes, I know. Did you see that wheel turn? Let's see if we can do it again.
All right, roll her ahead.
That's it. Now we're really making time. Let's do it again.
Well, boys, you heard what the man said. Let's do it.
When I get to Salt Lake City, I shall pay public tribute to the horse. Noblest beast in all creation. Look at those marvelous muscles.
Well, them marvelous muscles better get us moving faster than this, or we'll be unloading pipe all over the desert. All right, boys. Moving forward now.
Yeah.
Bring 'em on.
Whoa! Whoa! Look! I feel a rock! It's solid ground! We're here! Hallelujah! We made it! We made it! We'll be all right now. We made it! And it hasn't even been 2 hours. My watch. It's gone. It was all I had of home. Brother Brigham, welcome. I was afraid you wouldn't be here in time.
I was a little worried myself. But this is one occasion I couldn't miss. I'm not too late, am I?
No, but it's just about to...
Absolutely beautiful, Brother Joseph. You've brought beauty and happiness to our people. Will go far in filling their lives.
There was a time when I wondered, but now I know that it was all worthwhile.
It certainly was. But now let me step inside to really enjoy your music.
Joseph Bridges?
Yes?
They told me I'd find you here. I'm Corey Jones. We met out there in the desert.
Ah, yes, of course. The desert postman. Delighted you could come.
I brought you something. I was eastbound through the desert this last trip, and I seen something shiny sticking up out of the desert.
This is incredible. It's like coming across a friend you thought had died.
I remembered what you said about it. How it was civilization out there in the wilderness. Like the organ.
Ah, yes, like the organ. The wilderness shall be glad for them, and the desert shall blossom abundantly, and rejoice even with joy and singing, or something like that. Would you like to come inside?
Yes, I would. Joseph Bridges lived out his years in the Salt Lake Valley, leaving behind a memorial to his talent and dedication that still stands. For the little Australian carpenter who shepherded a musical cargo across Death Valley, later built the great, resonant, world-renowned 2,000-pipe organ, still heard daily in the Tabernacle at Salt Lake City. Next week, another true story of the Old West.